It is so hot out here today, but we're taking advantage of the fact that there is no rain right now to do this. So my channel consists a lot of vegetables, you know, vegetable 101 and fruit 101 like melons and things like that. But another one of my passions is actually flowers, and I love roses in particular. So this video is to show you what I do to keep my roses happy and blooming all season long. All right, now when it comes to roses, you have several different varieties that you can choose from, but two things I want to point out. Kind of like with tomatoes, you have indeterminate and determinate tomatoes. You also have something similar to that with roses. This one here is a bush type rose, which means it's not going to vine, if you will, or grow tall. It's just going to bush out. And then you'll have other type of roses that are going to be called climbing roses. So that's the first thing, is determining, are you buying a climbing rose like that one, or are you buying a bush type like this one? So if you have a climbing rose, you want to think about placement. You'll want to place the climbing rose closer to the trellis or support that you're going to have them on. So I have all of the holes dug up, ready for the flowers. Bone meal helps with the bulbs on the flower. So here we go. You could just buy bone meal from the store, from any store you could find it. Even Amazon sells it. But it's going to help with the bulbs on the flower, and it's also going to help produce more. And you want to add it into the hole directly, so that the roots can access it. Otherwise, if you put your rose bush in and then you add the bone meal on top thinking that it's going to go down to the root system, it's not going to do it. It's going to take forever. Bone meal takes forever to get down to the root system, so it's better if you just add it directly to the hole. You're going to look at me like I'm crazy when you watch this, but the next thing to add on each hole is a banana, the whole banana. And the reason for it, and if you haven't watched my How Banana Works Wonders in the Garden, I'll link it. But bananas are going to give your roses potassium, and that's going to help with bloom. So the bloom production is going to improve on your roses. They're going to look beautiful. Just take it and I squeeze it. And again, as this decomposes, it's going to give nutrients. The last thing I add is just any sort of rose fertilizer that you can find at a store. Now, because you don't eat the roses, I'm not as worried about chemical fertilizers on it. Some water to each hole, and you're not going to plant the rose bush just yet. You're actually going to wait a couple of minutes, let the water kind of dissolve any direct components from that fertilizer you put in, and see, let it just go down. And that's what you're looking for. Just let it soak in, and then you can transplant your rose bushes. Now, when you are going to transplant your rose bushes, one of the tricks that I do to help keep a lot of the native soil that this rose bush has grown with is I squeeze it down, and as I squeeze, I push it out from the base, and that just helps, again, keep a lot of that native soil when you're pulling it out. You don't want to fully bury the rose bush, and what I mean by that is, at the base of the rose bushes there's a main stem. You want to make sure that that main stem is exposed to air flow. And if you guys can see, I have a ton of blooms from other roses that I've transplanted last week. I mean, these are all going to open up all at once, and it's just going to look beautiful. It's going to look like that orange one down there that just opened up all at once. And then also make sure you deadhead your roses, which is just pretty much taking off all of the spent rose buds that are no longer really that vigorous on the plant. And there you have it, how I plant my rose bushes so that they can grow up and give some beautiful roses. And remember to water your plants. If you can do this, like for instance, I did this today after some rainstorms happened this morning, and I'm just giving them just a little bit of water, and then hopefully tomorrow it'll rain again. And rain is really good because of all the minerals that it has for newly transplanted flowers, vegetables, anything like that. I will see you next time here at Texas Size Garden.